In Minecraft's almost 14-year history, it's received various updates, some genuinely game-changing, while others, well, we don't talk about those. Major releases with significant changes often spark debates about whether the changes deviate too much from the essence of the game, the inherent simplicity it offers, and make it feel modded. While these concerns are understandable, I don't necessarily agree. Instead of focusing on adding more content, I believe the game could benefit from an overall expansion of baseline functionalities to provide greater depth. If you've seen my previous video on Minecraft armor sets, then you'll understand the angle I'll be approaching this from. The general idea is not to make Minecraft more complicated, but just to add more depth. For example, let's look at the fishing system. Right now, the fishing system in Minecraft is fairly simple. The main tool you'll use is a fishing rod. Well, if your intent is to actually catch fish, then you might have better luck just swinging your sword around in the river. The way the fishing mechanic works is a fishing rod is initiated in a sufficiently large body of water. Sufficiently large is in literally one block. Yeah, I'm actually not kidding. A 1 block wide space of water is actually enough to fish in Minecraft. Once initiated, in seemingly random intervals, a particle will move towards the hook. The player must then time it correctly to make a successful catch. Similarly to many other games that provide a fishing mechanic, it's possible to catch more than just fish. It's possible to get very useful items from fishing. Of course, it's also possible to get a lot of junk. Well, how could a system like this be expanded upon? Well, Mojang could introduce features or different layers to add depth to the current system. Maybe functionalities that reward players with more valuable items based on precise timing, or by incorporating different effects in bait for fishing rods. Currently, the game takes into account the temperature of the water you're fishing in. For instance, in colder biome like, let's say, the frozen ocean, your catch won't be as lucrative as the jungle or savanna biomes. I'd say take this a step further. Make your catch dependent on what biome you're in. Certain biomes could offer different types of fish and different types of loot. I mean, it would make sense that in a biome like the Badlands, it would offer a high likelihood of getting golden nuggets or even golden ingots. In special rare biomes like the Mushroom Island, you might have a higher likelihood of getting enchanted items like gear and books. Of course, these are just a few thoughts floating around in my head, and implementing these wouldn't be as simple as I might present them. The general objective of changes like this would be the deepening of these systems, not to make the game inaccessible, but to provide experienced players with additional layers of depth. Similar expansions could be made to systems such as farming and villager trading, mining, offering more options and increasing the skill ceiling for veteran players. Let's take a brief look at farming. In Minecraft, farming is currently straightforward, involving tilling soil, planting seeds, and keeping the soil hydrated. Now I think the system could be expanded upon by introducing faster crop growth in specific biomes, or during certain times of the year. Of course, this idea of seasons and the best way to implement them deserves a video of its own. Adding more crops, plants, and herbs to manage would be nice. Villages could specialize in different crops, creating a local economy based on seasonal demands that would fluctuate prices. This would allow the player to manipulate the isolated local economy of any given village. Something like this would require some expansion and a rework of how villages currently function. Villages would now have finite resources and resource requirements. Villagers would now need food not only to breed, but also to eat. Players could see villagers hoard food and crops for the winter, and prices would be higher then. This also means a player could potentially destroy a village by taking all their resources. The villagers would have nothing to eat and would starve to death. The resources getting too low towards winter could mean a significant amount of the local population could die off. A system like this would give more weight to the player's actions, as taking a single Arthas, as we players very commonly do, could potentially make or break an entire village. These additions wouldn't detract from the game's simplicity, as players could still approach farming and village management as they did before. Of course, there is always the possibility of destroying a village, which is why I think the village changes probably should be locked behind a game rule. Those players seeking deeper engagement could optimize their crop yields and how much a village thrives. It's valid to have concerns about these changes becoming overly complicated. Minecraft should not become a game that is difficult to play or understand. The best approach is one that maintains optionality, as seen with Redstone. Now, in my opinion, the best approach Mojang could take is one that maintains optionality, as seen with the Redstone system. Redstone allows players to create complex contraptions, but remains entirely optional. Players can choose whether or not to interact with it, and Minecraft's simplicity is not compromised as a result. Mojang's challenge lies in adding content that appeals to experienced players without alienating newcomers. Avoiding complexity altogether can make the game less engaging for any player. It's important to consider the type of player and strike a balance. This brings me to the last part of this video, the idea of skill floor and skill ceiling. When we think of these terms, competitive gaming often comes to mind. Games like Counter-Strike, Valorant, and Rainbow Six have a high skill ceiling but a low skill floor, relatively speaking. These games are easy to get into, but difficult to master due to mechanical complexity. These games require not only a deep understanding of the games themselves, but a high level of mechanical skill. Minecraft, particularly in single-player mode, lacks this mechanical complexity. Instead, its skill floor and skill ceiling are determined by knowledge and understanding of the game's systems. However, Minecraft currently has a low skill ceiling, meaning mastery can be achieved relatively easily. Redstone is an exception, definitely not the rule. The issue here is that a player with 150 hours of playtime can have the same mastery level as one with 1500 hours. Though this might be a bit of an exaggeration, there is definitely truth in it. This is because while there is a decent amount of stuff to understand and grasp in the game, most systems are fairly simple and can be mastered within a few hours, maybe even less. To address this, we need to raise the skill ceiling without increasing the skill floor. Minecraft should always be accessible and friendly to newcomers, primarily because it is marketed to kids. However, for experienced players, systems should be in place that require time, critical thinking, and strategic planning to master. Mastery should separate the veterans from the newcomers. Now, keep in mind this video was merely my opinion and not fact. I'm not seeking to present this as an absolute. You're free to disagree or point out any flaws in my reasoning. As a matter of fact, I welcome it, as I seek not to divide people, but to open a discussion. Thank you for watching.